Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. The first time I did it, like 10 years ago, the sort of press, particularly the industry press in America, was like, why is he saying these awful things to the most beautiful people? You know? And then by the 5th time, right, they were going, good, give it to him, we're sick of celebrities.
There's a claim circulating right now that the Epstein files reveal Ellen DeGeneres as, and I'm quoting this directly from the Post's, Hollywood's most prolific cannibal, that she consumed human flesh. Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative material.
Guess what? Pizza's here! Hello. Come on down. I lied. We weren't going backstage.
The first time he pulled that stunt, like 10 years back, the media, especially the Hollywood crowd in the US, was straight up offended. Like, yo, who does this guy think he is talking crazy about the most beautiful, powerful people alive? But fast forward a few years. By the 5th time he hit that same stage, whole vibe flipped. Suddenly it was like, nah, go harder. Cook them. This is funny. Now here's where things start getting messy. There's this wild claim blowing up online right now saying the Epstein files somehow expose Ellen DeGeneres as, and yeah, I'm quoting this exactly, Hollywood's most prolific cannibal. Like she was out here eating human flesh. Sounds insane, right? Yeah, because it is. But here's the part that is real. Her name does show up in the Epstein documents. Not as some confirmed criminal or anything like that, but in a huge list. We're talking 300 plus big names. Celebrities, politicians, power players, all mentioned somewhere in that mountain of records. So yeah, her name being there, that's fact. Everything else. Internet going full conspiracy mode. But let's rewind for a second. There was this moment, live TV, packed room, biggest names in Hollywood sitting right there, and someone drops a line comparing a situation to Epstein. Just casually. No hesitation. Room goes dead. Not a single laugh. And that silence. That wasn't because the joke didn't land. It's because everybody got it. They knew exactly what was being hinted at, and nobody wanted to touch it. That's the kind of tension we're talking about. Now think about it. Every year, all these elites gather at the Golden Globes. Fancy tables, champagne flowing, cameras everywhere. They laugh, clap, act humble for the audience watching at home. But that's just the show. Behind that, whole different story. And every now and then, you'd get someone like Ricky Gervais stepping up there, not caring about invites, not caring about backlash, just saying whatever he wanted. Not for the people in the room, but for the millions watching from their couches who had no clue what really goes down behind closed doors. He wasn't just cracking jokes. He was poking at stuff nobody else dared to mention. If you go back and actually watch those moments closely, you'll notice it. The camera cuts, the awkward faces, people freezing mid-bite. Because deep down, they knew. And here's the thing, he never had to say names. Didn't need to. Everyone in that room already knew who was connected to what, who showed up where, who flew on which plane, all that. That's why nobody laughed. You don't laugh when it feels a little too real. Then there's the other side of this. People who tried to speak up in a different way. Like Jim Caviezel, the same guy who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. Big actor, respected, had everything going for him. And then he started talking about stuff most people in Hollywood didn't want mentioned. After that, career basically took a hit overnight. Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe not. Now bring it back to Ellen for a second. For years, she built this whole image around one simple message. Be kind. That was the brand. The vibe. The identity. Daytime TV queen. Dancing into living rooms every afternoon, making people smile. But then 2020 hits, and suddenly former employees start speaking out. Not one or two, dozens. And the picture they painted? Completely different. They described a toxic environment. Fear behind the scenes. People walking on eggshells. Not exactly be kind, right? Even a producer who worked with her for years came out and straight up called her things like fake, hypocrite, toxic. That's not random internet gossip. That's people who were actually there. Warner Media launched an investigation. Executives got fired. Whole thing turned into a mess. Ellen eventually addressed it on her show, said she's human, she's working on herself. But a lot of people didn't buy it. Show ended in 2022 after nearly 2 decades. Just like that. And honestly, shows that big don't just end for no reason. Something had shifted. Then things got even darker. Within months, 2 people closely connected to her, and Haitian Steven Twitch boss, both passed away under tragic circumstances. Both cases officially closed. But still, people had questions. And when those Epstein files started dropping later on, all those unanswered questions came rushing back into the spotlight. Now look, before this goes off the rails, let's keep it real. Being named in those documents doesn't automatically mean someone did something illegal. A lot of names are in there just because of associations, events, emails, stuff like that. But what does make people uneasy is the pattern. Connections. Overlaps. Circles of power. That's what people are really reacting to. Not proof, but proximity. And once people start connecting dots, right or wrong, it spreads fast. That's where we are right now.